Something that you do, but you don't rush. Something that you want, but you need it more. You've got it in your heart, but your mind's blown. You know that you can try, you're getting so close. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the whole world? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the universe? Dancing with the universe. Dancing with the Everything you need is inside you. You just need to see what's in front of you. Don't listen to their words, do your own thing. Just listen to yourself and make it happen. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the whole world? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the universe? Can you feel it? This is something real. You have the universe to dancing with the universe. Can you feel it? This is something real. You have the universe to dancing with the universe. Interstellar night space, no one else sees. In the underground, we're living low key. Can give you peace here in your mind. And as I found no place in the dead of night to come alive. Life is waiting on the other side. Follow me into the underground. Watch the world changing as the sun goes down. Follow me into the underground. Follow me into the underground. Follow me into the
Electrified with you, electrified. Electrified with you.
It's something that you do, but you don't rush. Something that you want, but you need it more. You've got it in your heart, but your mind's blown. You know that you can try, you're getting so close. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your heart dancing with the whole world? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your heart dancing with the universe? Dancing with the universe. Dancing with the universe. Everything you need is inside you. You just need to see what's in front of you. Don't listen to their words, do your own thing. Just listen to yourself and make it happen. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel
1231 from MBS News. On the air because of some breaking news.
Those are the questions I want to try to answer.
And that would make you team number 1. Why did you tell A-Lion, like, immediately everything of what it was?
Time for fourth class.
It's something that you do, but you don't rush. Something that you want, but you need it more. You've got it in your heart, but your mind's blown. You know that you can try, you're getting so close. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the whole world? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the universe? Dancing with the universe. Dancing with the universe. Everything you need is inside you. You just need to see what's in front of you. Don't listen to their words, do your own thing. Just listen to yourself and make it happen. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the whole world?
Electrify with you, electrify with you.
It's something that you do, but you don't rush. Something that you want, but you need it more. You've got it in your heart, but your mind's blown. You know that you can try, you're getting so close. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your heart dancing with the whole world? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your heart dancing with the universe? Dancing with the universe. Dancing with the universe. Everything you need is inside you. You just need to see what's in front of you. Don't listen to their words, do your own thing. Just listen to yourself and make it happen. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel
On the air because of some breaking news.
Those are the questions I want to try to answer.
And that would make you team number 1. Why did you tell A-Lion, like, immediately everything of what it was?
Tied for fourth last.
It's something that you do, but you don't rush. Something that you want, but you need it more. You've got it in your heart, but your mind's blown. You know that you can try, you're getting so close. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the whole world? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the universe? Dancing with the universe. Dancing with the universe. Everything you need is inside you. You just need to see what's in front of you. Don't listen to their words, do your own thing. Just listen to yourself and make it happen. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel
Electrified with you.
It's something that you do, but you don't rush. Something that you want, but you need it more. You've got it in your heart, but your mind's blown. You know that you can try, you're getting so close. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the whole world? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the universe? Dancing with the universe. Dancing with the universe. Everything you need is inside you. You just need to see what's in front of you. Don't listen to their words, do your own thing. Just listen to yourself and make it happen. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel
on the air because of some breaking news.
Those are the questions I want to try to answer.
And that would make you team number 1. Why did you tell A-Lion, like, immediately everything of what it was?
Tied for fourth to last.
It's something that you do, but you don't rush. Something that you want, but you need it more. You've got it in your heart, but your mind's blown. You know that you can try, you're getting so close. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song.
Electrified with you.
It's something that you do, but you don't rush. Something that you want, but you need it more. You've got it in your heart, but your mind's blown. You know that you can try, you're getting so close. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel you're dancing with the whole world? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel you're dancing with the universe? Dancing with the universe. Dancing with the universe. Everything you need is inside you. You just need to see what's in front of you. Don't listen to their words, do your own thing. Just listen to yourself and make it happen. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel
because of some breaking news.
Those are the questions I want to try to answer.
And that would make you team number 1. Why did you tell A-Lion, like, immediately everything of what it was?
Tied for fourth to last.
It's something that you do, but you don't rush. Something that you want, but you need it more. You've got it in your heart, but your mind's blown. You know that you can try, you're getting so close. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your heart dancing with the whole world? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your heart dancing with the universe? Dancing with the universe. Dancing with the universe. Everything you need is inside you. You just need to see what's in front of you. Don't listen to their words, do your own thing. Just listen to yourself and make it happen. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your heart dancing with the whole world?
Electrify with you, electrify. Electrify with you.
It's something that you do, but you don't rush. Something that you want, but you need it more. You've got it in your heart, but your mind's blown. You know that you can try, you're getting so close. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the whole world? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the universe? Dancing with the universe. Dancing with the universe. Everything you need is inside you. You just need to see what's in front of you. Don't listen to their words, do your own thing. Just listen to yourself and make it happen. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the whole world?
Catwoman231 from MBS News. On the air because of some breaking news.
Those are the questions I want to try to answer.
And that would make you team number 1. Why did you tell A-Lion, like, immediately everything of what it was?
Tied for fourth to last.
It's something that you do, but you don't rush. Something that you want, but you need it more. You've got it in your heart, but your mind's blown. You know that you can try, you're getting so close. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel you're dancing with the whole world? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel you're dancing with the universe? Dancing with the universe. Dancing with the universe. Everything you need is inside you. You just need to see what's in front of you. Don't listen to their words, do your own thing. Just listen to yourself and make it happen. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it?
Important news. That's what we spent all of 3B arguing about. Have a great day, everyone. Okay. Just waiting. Does anyone know if MBS and MBN are live yet?
I believe MBS
They're
going live.
Okay, great. Cool. Then let's get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the June 2020 General Staff Meeting. Who's behind me? Hi, gods. Welcome to the June 2020 General Staff Meeting of Minecart Rapid Transit. We are at NW31 station on the Northern West Line extension, and we have a smaller number of staff here, but still a fair number. So staff present are Mossy, myself, Sinra, Frumple, Gods, Kessel, Vicky, Volpe, and Yoshi. I think there might have been. I think I said Gods. Anyway, so we have a few announcements that I'm going to read off, and then Frumple has a statement at the end. So starting off with the Premier City Reviews. Oh, let me also get rid of. Remove. Okay, you guys can build now. The Premier City Reviews. The results are as follows. We had 3 cities submitted for this meeting. We had the city of Marblegate by Distribino. We had 2 cities by Camel Fantasy of Fort Yaxier and Kanto. The result for all 3 was the same. The exact vote difference was slightly different. The end result for all 3 cities was that none are being promoted at this time. Unfortunately, 2 of them I think were unanimously no, and a third did receive some support. Yeah, that's what I have to report on there. I still need to compile a couple of absentee vote details, so the results will be a little bit delayed, but they should be going up within an hour or 2 of the GSM ending. So I just got to get a couple things compiled because people sent me some absentee votes and reasons. So that's that. Apologies to Camel and to Robin, but hopefully you guys will be able to use our feedback and improve your cities, and we look forward to reviewing them in the future. Moving on to section 2, which was moderator nominations. We had 1 candidate with 2 or more nominations. We had 2 candidates with 1 each. We have decided not to offer a position at this time. And just a reminder to everybody that nominations don't roll over. So that if you submitted a nomination this time around and you think that your candidate is still viable for the position, please resend your nomination or send us a new one. Just because we are still happy to take those and they don't roll over. 3A doesn't really affect us, so we'll skip that. It just involves one person with a trustee thing, so that's fine. 3B, this one is going to be a bit of a longer one. Thank you to the number of people who submitted similar emails. We kind of lumped them all together. There's a couple things that we wanted to address just with the community as a whole here. Starting off with some kind of targeted memes and jokes. We know that there are a fair number of kind of running gags and memes on the server that target specific people or that use specific people as the butt of a joke. So prime examples of this are Blame Chief, Nuke Hendon, Not My Admin, Fake Vulp, that kind of thing. We're going to ask that, with the exception of Blame Chief, because I think that's funny, that you guys stop with those jokes. So what that means is that we really would like people to stop using Nuke Hendon, except during the purge when London was agreeing that that was funny initially, and Fake Vulp in particular. Those two jokes need to stop. Otherwise, I would say, if you're making jokes about people in particular, that I would please be conscious of how they receive those jokes, because if you're making jokes that the person who they're about thinks they're funny, that's one thing and that's okay. But if you are making jokes that people are clearly not happy with, then please stop. If you become the butt of a joke that you're not comfortable with, it's important to let us know if you think that you're not being heard, especially because it's going to be hard to, like, sometimes when you're the butt of a joke and you're saying to stop, sometimes that can be interpreted as that you're just playing along with it or something. But if you are genuinely concerned, please approach us and let us know, just because it's not cool to have that happen. So that's that aspect of it. So Nuke Hendon and Fake Vault need to stop. Blame Chief is fine, because I find it funny. So the other part of 3B has to do with some concerns that we have had brought to us about people effectively making political statements or building some kind of touchy things in their towns or through random builds or whatever. And we want to approach this carefully. Gods, I think you had a better way of putting it, but essentially this has to do with any time you're building stuff that can be politically contentious. So, for example, we know there are a couple towns on the server that have more that, as a role-playing measure, will build out a political system that's a more authoritarian regime than, say, a more representative democracy kind of thing. Or there are some towns or agencies that specifically are satirical representations of, say, the Communist Party or the CIA or whatever. So we just want to set some guidelines on what sort of things within that are acceptable and what isn't. While we haven't made any decisions right now, and we don't want to make those decisions behind closed doors, we do want to involve the community as we talk through these kinds of things. And this is especially important as we're considering the different political conversations and even the stuff that's going to be coming up in 5A. But really, we just want to let you guys know that we haven't made any decisions yet. We want to involve the community as we make those decisions. But one of the baselines that we're going to be establishing, and again, this is kind of walking the balance of allowing people to express their opinions, allowing some amounts of satire, but also being cognizant of what is offensive and what's harmful. So one of our baselines that we're looking at is anything that's considered a symbol of hatred. We're gonna look at, does the community stand against this sort of thing, and should it not be allowed? So one potential example, and again, this is something that we'll as a community need to confirm on. I personally would want this to be on the list, but would be the Confederate flag. So that's kind of an example of something that we eventually may want to remove. Gods, you had another way of putting it. Do you want to kind of
Did
give the
I?
rest of? Well, no, you like right towards the end. You had another just kind of more concise way of describing kind of how we're
There's
going
some
forward
more,
with
but
this.
I think there's some other examples we can mention too, just
Yeah.
right away, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the other examples that we were looking at, and these are specific to the emails that we got, were any sort of concentration or labor camp. We've had some complaints about those. Also, swastika, which hopefully everyone will agree that's definitely not something we allowed, and staff have removed those in the past. And the other example, and this one's probably the most controversial, is the hammer and sickle. I know that there are a lot of communist or communist adjacent towns on the server who do use that symbology, but for some people who may have actually lived through the Soviet Union and some of their practices, it does come off as a bit insensitive to use that symbology. So, and I know, and Kitty just said this, the hammer and sickle is not a hate symbol, but that's why we want to open up this conversation. Like, what is acceptable? What is considered a hate symbol for this community? What is acceptable and what is not? So,
yeah. So we're not. Go ahead, Gods.
No, I remembered what I was going to say now. We've decided that we will take action, but we're not sure yet in what form it will be, as we want to involve the community in that discussion. So it will be sorted at a date in the future.
Yeah. So no changes now, but keep your eyes peeled, and we would love to have you guys be. We need you guys to be a central part of that conversation because we want to make a decision that is acceptable to the community as a whole.
sorry,
and
Chief.
it's not going to please everybody. We know that everyone's going to have different opinions, but
Sorry, Chief. I don't think you mentioned we are opening up emails to staff about this topic. Correct?
yes.
So yeah, let's just make this clear. Like, we are looking for feedback. Please do. We're not looking for discussions right now in the Q&A or anywhere else right now. We would prefer that you just email us directly what your personal opinion is, so we get a better sense. And then at the next GSM, we'll be having a more, I guess, detailed conversation about this. I know, but right now, I don't think is the time to be debating. Well, if you want to debate, sure, but I can just be mindful of where that debate goes, and be respectful. So
yeah, and I mean, the primary reason that we want to draw attention to this is because of Rule 1 of being respectful to everybody, and we know that that's going to be interpreted differently for everybody. So, and also just because of everything that's going on in the world, that I think that those conversations are going to be a lot more important to have. So, thank you in advance to everyone who is able to send feedback and participate. Because we would really rather hear from you than assume what you want to see. Like, please tell us what kinds of things you want us to consider in July. So, okay. Frumple, I will. Where'd you go?
all right.
Because I made a podium, and I
Oh.
think you should stand at this podium when you give this announcement.
Okay, I'll stand on the podium. Hold on.
You're gonna need a GM3 because I barriered it. Here, I'll just
Oh.
keep you here.
And now we're stuck inside the podium room, Chief. Okay.
Yep, you're stuck.
Hi. It's been a while since I've been on podium, but basically, I want to update you guys on the head administrator position. I've talked about it before in previous months, where I was, hinting of giving one of the admins this. Let me just so I'll just say this right out. The person I'm choosing to become the head admin will be Chief, because Chief's been here for so long and he's contributed so much to the server. And I also think that he has the technical know-how of being able to essentially deal with anything in case I'm not here. Basically, if the reason for one of the roles of the head admin will mainly actually be if I'm gone or not available or incapacitated even, I want this community to continue on. And right now, well, before this, I basically had all the keys to a lot of the very internal stuff on the server, like turning on the website or the Mumble server, or like all the basically technical internals. By giving Chief the head admin position, I'm also giving him essentially full control over the server. So he will be able to, if in case something goes wrong or something dies, Chief will have the ability to fix that issue. So yeah, essentially it's basically a backup. Chief will be acting as a backup in case something goes wrong, but I don't. Hopefully, that won't happen at all. But in terms of title, yes, Chief will be the head administrator. I guess Chief, we didn't discuss about the. I guess you'll continue doing the staff meetings, right? I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So that all those responsibilities will still be there, but yeah.
I mean, I think that you and I have a bit to discuss on what the details look like, and I mean, once this is done, like we're gonna run away and go start figuring out how to connect everything together for me. But
I need to
yeah.
show Chief how to turn off and on things. So
I mean, yeah, like
Yeah.
this this is but yeah, so
So hopefully that puts an end to that question. And that's about it, I think. Yeah. So I guess we're gonna move on to 5A.
what is going on over there? I don't even know.
I'm not even...
It's not worth it.
Yeah, I'm not going to look at that. Okay. Cool. So yeah, 5A. So we're going to go from one controversial topic directly into another.
Actually, this may not be as controversial as you think, based
maybe
on if you haven't voted. Also, yeah, if you haven't voted yet, there is a new series of survey questions for topics 5A and 5B specifically. So if you haven't voted, please do vote. Based on the results from the survey for 5A, it kind of looks like people are in favors, essentially, for this proposal. I'm just going to summarize what it's about. There's been a lot of turmoil in real life, and I've noticed on the server that there's been at least one political conversation happening per day, or more than that. Unfortunately, but the thing is, for a lot of people who just want to escape from real life responsibilities or just chill on the server, essentially, having to listen to all these sort of conversations does get tiring. It's kind of fatiguing to do that. So what this proposal suggests is basically move all these political discussions that are happening in game. These are just specifically in-game conversations from main chat to P4. Now it's not going to. Now there's some additional points. Point number 2 says if someone asks to move a political discussion from main chat to P4, you are obliged to do it. This is more of a hard rule because just out of respect and courtesy for the people who don't want to engage in that conversation. And this was sort of a guideline or an unspoken rule before, but now we're going to make it an actual server rule.
The third point, point number 3, is less of a rule. It's more of a guideline, but just for people to keep in mind that if they themselves think that they want to start a discussion that they know will probably be controversial or it deals definitely with IRL political stuff, we would like to ask that they start that conversation in P4 right away instead of doing it in main chat. Just to get it just prevents a person having to go on and asking the person to move the conversation. You might as well just start in P4 just to make it easier for everyone. So there are a whole bunch of other points. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm sure there's going to be some discussion about it. I did try to also specify what we mean by an IRL, like define what an IRL political discussion exactly is. And there obviously there's going to be some gray area, but I think that we can definitely say that things, if you're talking about elections or politicians or protests or governments or anything specific, that's definitely belongs in it. That's definitely IRL political. That definitely belongs in P4. Things that are more gray area, like coronavirus thing, the economy, the whole BLM thing, social issues, those sort of things, those are kind of adjacent to politics, and they could turn quickly toward like a really political driven discussion. I think that'll just be based on context. Like if the conversation's just say about coronavirus but doesn't really touch on politics that much, then that can still be in main chat. But if someone does ask, maybe they don't want to see this conversation, then I think it's fair game for that conversation to be moved to P4. So yeah, so that's the gist. If you have questions about it, I guess you can ask the Q&A, but effectively we're probably going to implement this.
I mean, yeah, it seems like the survey says that it seems like that's a reasonable idea. So, and I think just addressing for folks who want to know why we're saying P4 when the unwritten rule used to be P1, mostly it's because we want to set it at P4 because P1 gets used for a lot of different things. And we want to use P4 as the politics channel so that if you choose to unsubscribe from P4, that you're not missing out on much. Because like there are certainly chances where 2 project channels are in use. I don't think we've ever had a situation where there were full conversations happening in all 4 project channels at once. So we think it's safe to designate P4 as the politics channel.
I know there's some concern about the third, like if no one cares about the politics conversation in main chat. Again, it's not going to be a hard rule, but you don't know who else might be listening on Discord or who might join in the game later. So I'd still strongly recommend. I mean, there's no point. Like you can just start it in P4, and people will still be able to listen. And the people who may be online but don't want to listen, they have the option to leave P4. With main chat, they can leave main chat, but they might be missing other stuff. So,
and that causes all sorts of other problems.
Yeah. So again, consider being courteous to others when having these conversations. If you think it's going to be political, I strongly suggest you start in P4.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Okay. Any other staff? Do you have any comments on this?
I honestly agree wholeheartedly. Just move it to P4. Because it is getting a bit annoying.
Okay. All right. I guess we're going to approve it, unless I hear any other objections. All right. Should I move on? Hello?
Yes. Yeah,
Chief?
that's good.
Alright, yeah, let's
Good.
move
Let's go.
on.
Doing something more important, like building giant statues.
Chief, I think Chief died, so I'll just keep going. 5B, also a survey question. Time is proposing a nostalgia channel. This will be under general chat category, not the IRL, because it is specifically about old server stuff. Oh, we forgot to do minutes. Someone staff can do minutes, please? Just fill that part in.
Wait, we
Just
weren't
start-
keeping track.
Yeah, we forgot about the private portion, so but we have it recorded. Can one staff please just catch up on 5A?
I'll jump on it.
Okay, thanks, Scott.
Thanks, gods.
Okay, so 5B, Time is proposing a nostalgia channel. It'll be under general chat, not IRL, because it is dealing with it's basically server history, old events, maybe old I don't want to say old people, but people who have previously visited the server, like that sort of thing. Survey says that there seems to be general support for it, so I don't see any issue with adding it unless there are any objections that I may not be
I
aware.
I think I agree with you. I don't really see the point in it, to be honest. Because I mean, we can use. I'm just curious, like, what would distinguish it from, for example, using general or something like that. And I guess also, what would you distinguish the nostalgia? Because if I put something maybe from a week ago, does that count as nostalgia? I'm like, because obviously I don't want to police it too much if it does get approved, but I'm more of just, I kind of agree with Kitty and Core, which is like, I am very curious what would be different than just putting it in a general channel, for example.
Yeah, I also have a concern of like it's one of those things that it'll flare up for a couple days at a time and then just sit there for a while. And we already have a lot of Discord channels. So, you know, if it's not something that is actively contributing to a lot of the conversations that are happening, then I don't know why it would need to be split out. Like this kind of discussion is allowed to happen in general right now. I'll just clarify that.
I think Time is typing. One thing I can think of is maybe the purpose of it is to just move it out of general, so general can be actually about general conversations. Maybe.
I guess I would argue that that is considered a general conversation, though. I feel like.
Yeah, maybe.
Does it happen a lot though?
I don't,
I don't think
so.
it does. Yeah.
Occasionally.
I think it would also feature like historical value for the MRT because it would be reminiscing over past events, and we'd have a much easier way of keeping a log of it, I guess.
Well, that wouldn't make sense because you would probably post nostalgia photos out of order, right? So it wouldn't really be a log of any.
No, but it would still be there. It would still be easier to keep track of. It'd be a good way of basically just going over.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You could use general though for that, couldn't you?
It would get bumped up more though because people talk about general other things.
But if you're saying it's supposed to be a log, right, and usually like you would be able to look up stuff in the log, you can just use the search function in Discord and just search in general.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you do have a point actually.
Time to move. Time is saying, I mean, it could be a temporary thing if y'all want. I just think it'd be cool for everyone to share old things they discover are fun. So.
Yeah, temporary thing would be fun.
I mean, I think if we do, I feel like, again, I feel like if we could just, people kind of do that in general, like, oh, look, I found this old screenshot from when we used to do this, like, and then kind of like Kitty argued, it's kind of a natural flow of the conversation sometimes. And I guess we could also do it in general because then it would be permanent there as well because you could just search up, oh, I remember when we talked about this, and you can look up, find those things.
Okay. I mean, it could be a case of maybe we try it, and then as some people are saying, if they think it's going to dry out. If it does do that, then we can delay it later. Like it's no big deal.
The only reason I would say like is like if people want to like put stuff in there to save it, if like it does dry out, then the channel is deleted. Then like all that is gone. Then.
I was saying food is a channel that I don't really agree with that because food is actually used.
Food is used. I have seen it.
Yeah, there's delicious food in there. Yummy.
Yeah, I have that channel muted, but it does exist.
Kitty has a concern that this will be a reason for just people to move conversations out of general to like just be essentially just like random.
I could see that, but it's also much more targeted. But I also see I definitely see the againsts for it.
It is a sizable majority on the survey question. I'm just double checking. Okay, I think. Go ahead, Yoshi.
I'm wondering if there's people who voted on the survey question that aren't here for this discussion, so they might.
It's possible, but it's hard to.
Yeah.
They're not gonna. Not everyone's gonna attend this. It's honestly a very sizable amount. I don't know if that'll actually be enough to change everyone's. So okay, I think we should move on. I think I'll just add it. We'll see what happens. If it becomes annoying or becomes a detriment, then we can remove it or unused again.
Okay. Okay. 5C staff meeting text channel gods.
Sorry, just finishing up writing that on the minutes. So this is an idea of mine, sort of to allow for, like, as you can see now, meeting discussion is pretty active. But my sort of idea is having a channel in-game to link to that, so people can just still play while they're talking about it.
That'd be cool.
I actually really wholeheartedly agree with this. I don't know about everyone. I have 2 monitors, but it's like I have the game on one and Chrome on the other for the agenda. And so it's like I just kind of ignore Discord. I have a bad habit of it.
Yeah, I've also noted that there's an additional benefit, mainly for Chief, in that
Yeah.
you then come the Q&A, it's all just collated in one feed. But like the main idea is to allow for that cross communication.
Yeah, I think this would be really, really helpful.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, doesn't sound like anyone's against it. Any comments about my comment?
What was your comment?
One
read
is
the next part.
So there's one that's like we need to just have an admin remember to assign the permission, which, yeah, like we just need to remember. To
I guess
that.
first thing, are we intending to just should it be temporary? Like there's a possibility also we could keep it could be a permanent link, but I'm not sure what benefit that would be. Right, so you could have a permanent.
It would be a channel where it's just not used, but
Yeah.
like it still has an advantage where when the agenda comes out for that week, yeah, you could. It still allows that cross.
Because the meeting discussion Discord channel is not cleared between meetings. It's left in full in between meetings. Even though it's now you'll have week on, a week off of activity. So yeah, I mean, I think it's actually fine to leave it just in terms of keeping that connection available so that and then just people can just choose to unsubscribe from it in game if they like during the agenda release week, they can just get rid of it if they don't want it.
Okay. On to my second point. I don't like SM as a prefix. I don't think it.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
That was literally just a suggestion. So the idea is there is.
How about just /D for discussion?
D is assigned to something, I think.
Oh,
Discord? It used to be.
No, /D is not a thing.
That was when Discord was separate to the main chat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was.
/D could work, I guess. Yeah, not. I was suggesting /Z because I'm crazy like that. So another thing, the prefix discussion, is that okay for everyone too? Because I just wonder, would that be a little confusing maybe to people in game? Because what discussion of what?
Another one is meeting.
Meeting. Would there be a way to only have this channel during GSMs on?
Yeah,
that's
no,
where that permission of
Okay.
that first comment comes in. So
yeah, Yoshi, to be clear, we can either set it up to be a permanent permission, so it's always linked, or you can always see it in game.
I see. I see.
But you can set up temporary permission. It just means an admin has to remember to do it before the GSM or ISM, I guess.
Yeah.
So. But there are discussions that happen outside of GSMs or meetings where people are just discussing topics. And I don't know. It might be useful to have
especially
that.
like right when the agenda comes out.
Is this something like we can take offline to work out what we want for the command and the prefix?
I think that's
Yeah, we can throw some ideas around.
Yeah,
I think that's fine.
I think there's a consensus that people want it, so we might as well just work it out.
Okay. Cool. Technical details coming later, but otherwise, yeah. Okay, sounds good. Okay. Gods, town transfer deputy mayors.
Oh, 2 in a row. So this is a comment, mainly an observation, just that in the towns list, there's a lot of towns currently which mayor and above that don't have a deputy mayor listed, and this is mainly stemming from where the towns have transferred from person to person, and no new deputy mayor has been set. So with that, my proposal is that pretty much when a town is being transferred, the mayor will be set. So I've given 2 specific examples. One is when it's explicitly transferred, and I've commented that the former mayor will become the deputy mayor. However, there's a comment by Frumple saying, can they just name a third person? And then the other time is when it's requested. So through inactive asset transfers or through the deputy mayor for inactive towns. So my suggestion is that whoever's requesting it would name their deputy mayor.
That seems fair, and there are a lot of towns on the town list that don't have any deputy.
Yeah, I think the only case this wouldn't catch is when a mayor is banned, but then we could just make a conscious effort to contact the deputy mayor and say, hey, you're now the mayor. Who do you want as your deputy mayor?
Well, God, so that right now we have it where if you're the deputy mayor and you're going to take it over, you still have to email us to. Well, I guess not. I mean, well,
Not really.
we don't make that transfer automatically. Is the thing. Like an admin will run the ban command, but like technically speaking, we wouldn't. We don't always remember to update that spreadsheet. So yeah, I guess that's the one edge case then. Is yeah, but I think in the cases where it's an IAT or when it's a direct transfer or when it's an inactive succession, I think those cases are pretty well laid out because all of those cases in recording the details. So yeah, the band one is where it gets a little tricky.
Reading GSM discussion echoes.
We effectively have you effectively have to declare who your DM is if you're going to rank it up. So like that, at least in that case, means that you're, in theory, if you're going to inherit the town and then keep working on it, that the time period without, oh no.
Like often we'll see that a town will get transferred just to enable a rail line to go through, and they have no intentions of actually building up the town, really.
I think I'm just looking at GSM discussion based on what Echo and Kitty are saying. I think the purpose of this proposal is there are cases where somebody transfers a town to a new person, and the new person actually goes, I guess, inactive, right? So in that case, the new person is the mayor. We never got a chance to ask them who the deputy mayor should be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then that's kind of a hole. Right?
We could require it in the asset transfer email itself, though, because that would
remove. That's part of what this is saying.
I see.
Well, Well, yeah, but the thing is, the asset transfer email has to be sent by the original mayor, right? So it's kind of in order for this, for what Echo is suggesting to work, is the original mayor sends the email to staff, and then we have to go ask the new mayor for the deputy mayor. That's a little bit, it's a little
Yeah,
fiddly in my
which
opinion.
is
Like,
which is
yeah.
where my suggestion came from, where like the new mayor becomes the de facto deputy mayor, just because there's probably a relationship between the two, because otherwise they wouldn't be transferring it in the first place.
Yeah. So
And with
yeah,
that, we're still allowing the new mayor to then go over and say, "Hey, I'd like this person as my deputy mayor."
Yeah, because deputy mayor changes don't need to be sent to staff as long as they're like, I mean, if it's in the town hall and there's corporate tech logs from the mayor saying that they put the sign in or whatever,
Mm.
that's what
But
we're looking for if we're trying to verify it.
Yeah, but it helps to go through stuff just so we can keep the town list dates.
Yeah, that keeps the spreadsheet up to date. But like in turn, like you don't need. What I'm saying is that like the procedure for a mayor to switch who their DM is, like they can just do that whenever they want.
the best, I guess, the best source of truth when we're trying to find who the deputy mayor is in game. Like, yeah, you put a sign in your town hall. If that's not there, then the next step is looking at our docs. So so I
So-
guess so there's God's suggestion of switch. Essentially, he's flipping the former mayor to become the deputy mayor and all that. There's my suggestion of maybe the initial mayor has to suggest a deputy mayor as part of the as a transfer. I'm not sure. Either way could work. I'm not sure what you guys think of.
So
doing it this way.
I mean, so there's whenever you transfer a town to somebody else, if that town is at or above the mayor rank, it already would have a deputy mayor assigned to it in most cases.
Or
So
it's supposed to, at least.
that's why I say in most cases, because there certainly are some where they don't. But the other option is to leave the deputy mayor as is and just switch who the mayor is. So I do like the idea of having the outgoing mayor need to explicitly decide and confirm who the deputy mayor is going to be at the time of exit. And then, like, when the new mayor receives it, they can immediately change it if they want to.
Okay.
I think in terms of keeping and establishing a line of succession, that's probably that way probably has the smallest chance of us missing something.
So some questions coming in. So Kitty's asking, how would God's proposal? How would God's proposal, what if there's a voluntary transfer?
That's
I've
what I was
got the
just
two
saying.
cases in the agenda, which is if it's a voluntary transfer from so the mayor is explicitly saying it's going to a new person. I suggested that the mayor would become the deputy mayor. The second catch
So-
then is if the person is requesting it, be that through inactive asset transfer, or if the mayor has gone inactive and it's a deputy mayor requesting it, in their email they have to specify who the deputy mayor would be.
I think that one's clear.
I think
I think that the thing that we're stuck on is what happens if, say, I decided I wanted to give away Shillerton. What happens to deputy mayor then?
So my suggestion is that you name the new mayor, you would de facto become the deputy mayor, but
Yeah.
then the new mayor always has the option to change that.
Does that explain it, Kitty? And London, I guess. Okay.
London has a separate thing, but yeah.
Seems like it does. Explain it. Okay.
So then I've got one final sort of proposal, which is that this is applied retroactively as well to those towns on the town list where there's no deputy mayor listed, and it has gone through a transfer. Obviously, if the mayor is active, I'll try to reach out, but if not, we just...
there might be some niggle. Might be some problems with that. Like I was going to say niggles, but it's not.
That's not a
Something-
word.
It's not a word. So there's some towns that have been transferred several times, right? So then who? And we don't have. Unfortunately, there's no records of who's the like what order, like well, who's the most recent mayor, who's the original mayor, right? So how would you determine, like in the deputy mayor field, like how would you determine which mayor to put in, right?
I was going to go off the most recent, but yeah, it may sometimes be hard to tell that.
Yeah, you could go off staff news, but if you want
Yeah.
to troll through that.
That
Yeah,
might
we
be
can do
the best thing we have.
I guess the question is, would be okay with applying this retroactively, as Scott said, and
I mean,
someone
to
not
be
to do
clear,
the work.
if the mayor is active, rather than just going off staff news, I will contact them first to say, hey, can you name a deputy mayor, please?
That works too. Yeah,
I think
It
that's
should-
fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like there's no objections. I think the only thing that's left then is what happens if the mayor gets banned.
Which is where. How do
So-
to be fair, I haven't really experienced it in a while. How do we usually go about transferring those assets? Because isn't it usually admins that will put in announcements, this person's been banned, this is who their assets are going to?
Yes, it's like if they give a will, then I think that we would just.
Yeah.
So here's an easy way of saying it: leave the deputy mayor as it is, because if you're the mayor of, no, because the deputy mayor is inheriting it. Never mind. Great job, chief.
That may not work.
That doesn't work.
Yeah. So it would just be for that rare edge case which happens once in a blue moon. That
So
whoever
in that case,
Yeah.
then
the admin would just need to contact the new mayor and say, hey, please can you name a deputy mayor?
okay.
Yeah, this might be a case. I don't think we're going to get 100% like all assigned deputy mayors to all towns. I think there's always going to be some people we can't contact or some people we
Yeah,
can't determine.
absolutely.
So
And again, it's only mayor and above where we really need, or we really ask for them. Because if a councillor and down, there's no requirement for one.
Yep.
So, okay, but I think generally speaking that addresses it.
So are
Okay.
we happy with the former mayor becoming the deputy mayor, or do we want to go with Rumpel's idea of just the former mayor will name a new person? Because they can always.
I'm fine with it. With gods as form. Yeah.
I like God's idea. It's the simplest one to do, and it
Yeah,
avoids
and
that.
tracking down those mayors could be difficult if if they've
Well,
been
and
offline.
and it avoids having a potentially infinitely long line of succession problem.
Yep.
So
okay.
okay. Seems like that's all good.
Combine
5
teleports.
Okay, no, 5e.
Don't skip my topic.
Frumple, and you skip London. But okay, 5e, which is replacing staff with robots,
Sure.
or at least one function of staff with robots.
Sure. This is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, staff have been the gatekeepers of passwords to file server and wiki and all that stuff. Instead, I wrote a plugin for TacoBot that does this for you. There'll be a new channel called Password Requests. You type in the command, the password you want to request, and it'll PM you. It'll actually do two things. It'll PM you the password to yourself, so it's not public, but also it'll also make a note in the channel itself just for record keeping purposes. This will help us in hopefully rare events where someone who's not supposed to be on the server gains access to these servers, and we can use that to track down those never dwells. So
Question: Do we still like if it logs in Discord? Do we still then proceed to go in and log it on staff?
no, Yeah, no. After this, any logging of passwords should not be done in staff news anymore. Usually, we'll be using the Discord channel for that.
What happens
The
if
one thing that
someone isn't in Discord?
I did point out that point. Point out that in the topic, there's a small minority of people who are not in Discord. In those cases, yes, that person can ask a staff member, and that staff member would then put a manual message in password requests, just noting that they gave the password to this person. So I think that should cover that case. But I don't
Yeah,
think it's going to happen very often. So
Yeah.
one I was going to propose putting the Discord link, the invite link, back in the member app email. So that way staff wouldn't have to also record where the links are going to or who they're giving them to. But because of recent incursions by someone, I don't think that's gonna be a good idea. So staff will still be recording who they're giving the invite link in our staff news document. So
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine.
okay.
Yep, no objection.
Okay, so this will be online probably sometime after the GSA. Also, I will be changing the passwords for all 4 services. So some of those services might go down just briefly while I go change the password. So yeah. Okay. 5F.
5F. MRT station emergency exit stuff.
Oh Jesus!
Oh,
I can.
who's my go?
I see London sentiment, and I sort of agree with it in that if let's be honest, stations do. I wouldn't say often, but it's not uncommon for someone to get stuck. So I think it like emergency exits should sort of be kept safe.
Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair, especially if it's a guest as well.
It's almost always a guest that gets stuck.
Yeah.
Looks like some people are going to discuss this in meeting discussion right now. I can see definitely a lot of guests. They don't usually venture out too far from spawns, so definitely maybe it might be worth for staff should check the stations immediately around Central City.
Well, my suggestion
just to
was
see.
sort of because there's not compared to the amount of staff, there's not that many lines. So sort of having staff volunteer to just go through all the stations on one line and check.
Could do that too, yeah.
Because I'm happy to check a couple myself, but
I think it'd be a bit pedantic to like make a rule about it, to like have to like
I mean,
put
it's
in the
sort of already in the rules. Like currently, the ranks page says that mayors can request membership of World Guard region or a nearby RT station in order to decorate it, and all we need to do is say that removing exits does not.
Well, yeah, I meant more of like I think it's pedantic to have to like explain this, but I do agree that like I do get quite a few people who like get stuck in the emergency exit. So it's either basically we remove the emergency exit door, or at least have some kind of exit. Like I think I can see what some of you guys might think like this doesn't make sense, but like there are quite a few guests who actually like get stuck down there. Now whether or not we have to like put a rule that I don't agree with that, but I definitely think we need to address it.
I guess the only thing I can consider if we would want to enforce it per se, like if someone intentionally blocks an exit, which I don't think
anyone.
I've seen it a few times where someone's just removed the staircase down, so you effectively just get stuck in the bottom area.
Which I think, yeah, people I think do that for like a design choice sometimes as well. Which like I don't think we should punish anyone for it. I think it's just more just like
about being punished, but sort of saying,
yeah,
hey, please can you give some sort of exit?
Yeah.
Forget
Someone's mic is
AP, your
It's
mic's
mistake,
not the best. Sorry.
Sorry.
Wait, we can hear you now. I think it's the initial parts, but I think we can hear you now. Go ahead, try again, AP.
AP, can you try again?
I think generally it's something people just forget about. It's a mistake, not malicious.
Oh, we should make it. If we make it such that this is like when we see it, we just say, "Hey, fix this as soon as you can."
Oh yeah, yeah. I wasn't talking about giving warnings or anything like that. It was just a blight.
I think it should just be a general call to people, whoever's listening right now, like check your MRT stations. If you're blocking something or if it's not accessible for even not just guests but even members have problems getting out in some cases. So just take a
Do we want to make it sort of a general staff project then? So like, if a staff member's free for a day, they can take a look down the line and just see.
Not a bad idea,
Stay-
but yeah, that's not a bad idea. But I don't think that we need to like make it a whole big thing. I think it's
Oh,
more
no,
just
no,
like
no.
if
Just
you're
have a
bored
doc.
and just like if you're bored and you want to do it, go for it.
We can just
Yeah,
have, we can just have like a
doc.
staff doc. Yeah, just like
Yeah,
a spreadsheet. Something.
Yeah, put it in the top docs. Put it in the top folder. Okay.
So
Seems like
are
that's
we
all good then.
Improving this in full.
I mean, there's not really. Well, yeah, I think it's just
we're proving it in principle, but there's no enforcement of it essentially.
there's no change to policy. It's more just a reminder of people.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Okay, 5G.
That's how I feel as well from Paul.
Oh Lord, this.
I mean, I did also I rejected an earlier one. I won't name. Someone else was suggesting a airplane related mayor thing, and I was like, yeah, no, there's no appetite for that. So
I'm fairly against this proposal because
I-
my
As am
understanding
I.
of the councillor, my understanding of the councillor and their helipads is like it's not really meant to be there for a heliport. It's just like individual
Yeah.
helicopters, like you'd see serving the roof of a building in some cities.
Well, so there's two things. So the 1 or 2 limit, we've decided that now only applies to intercity transit. Because if you're doing like a helicopter or a blimp transit network within your city, we decided, I think last month that, or 2 months ago, that those are fine. So, and that those don't account against you. So in that aspect, then I don't think there's a real reason to need 4 helipads between 2 towns. Like I think like I mean again the reason I think that we're okay with the Senator airfield thing is because those have a defined space limit and that like you can fit a lot in one, and so it's beneficial and realistic for nearby cities to share one, whereas like helipads don't take up that much space. So, and also like I think, I'd rather see more towns that are like built up well, make the Senator rank, and be able to use their airspace allocations then, rather than just having a lot of little tiny towns all over the place. I don't know. That's my personal opinion now.
So just reading off Kitty's comment from meeting discussion, he says he doesn't have a problem with mayor towns combining the helipads because like they would still only have a maximum of 4, which is that big a deal.
yeah, just to clarify, I don't think there is an explicit rule against people putting their helipads
Next to each other.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put your if you put your towns next to each other,
I guess
think,
fair enough.
yeah. I'm unsure. Foot Chicken, is that what you're proposing? Because I'm that's what I thought it was, and I was gonna say yeah, no, it just looks like
My
if you're gonna
understanding
put
of
2.
Sorry, my understanding of Foot Chicken's proposal was like a mayor town could effectively give their 2 helipads to a different town, so the other town could have 4.
Oh no, you can't do that.
On the same, he's saying so basically all in the same town to like basically just in a way like pooling the number of helipads.
Kind of like how you can pool governor airport allocations.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, you changed my mind on that. Yeah, I'm okay with this. Just if it's, yeah.
Wait, what? Is this all? No, wait, what?
Wait.
All in the same time? Okay, no. So it's referring to basically it. Yeah, so it's not what we're thinking of, Rumble. It's referring to basically saying, oh, let's say like town A and town B want basically like town A has 2 helipad open spaces, town B has 2 helipad. Basically, want to make 4 in one city instead and 0 in another.
Essentially, giving
Yes.
allocations to another town. No,
Yes.
that's not
That
allowed.
I have a problem with.
Yeah, no. If you can share it, like if you put the heliport, say
Between the city.
between, just like how other like combined senator airfields work, then that should be fine. But no giving helipad allocations to another town. That's not, that can get confusing very easily, because we'll look at it and say, where'd you get these other 2 allocations from? Like, right? So
yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Just let Foot finish writing here.
Yeah.
The wrong channel.
Foot Chicken says, so if my town and metro map both get counselor in this scenario, my heliport could have 2 pads. No. Yeah.
No. But the only time that you would be able to do that is if you built the heliport in between the towns.
Yep.
If you're a counselor town, you can't have 2 helipads in your town, or you can't have 2 external facing helipads in your town.
Yeah. So
instead of thinking about it more like your heliport, think of it as our heliport. Like you're trying to make a shared heliport between 2 towns, and you make it clear that the allocations belong to each town. Then I think that should be okay. If you don't make that clear, then it kind of looks like you're putting in more heliports that you're not allowed to, right?
Yeah, that's not allowed.
So just to be clear then, what we're saying is it's sort of semi-approved in that they can't explicitly give their allocations to another town, but they can use it to create a shared heliport between the 2 towns.
you think of it like, for example, Merville Arcadia Airport is technically in both towns because it's in between both towns, but it's in a way.
Katie, what I think what you're saying is it has to be clear that whatever the airport or heliport is, it has to be clear that it's shared between 2 towns. The easiest way is if it's located between the 2 towns. But what from the wording I'm seeing from Foot Chicken is it sounds like the heliport's going to be fully in one town and the other town is not going to have one. That's not clear.
Yeah, Kitty, I get what you're coming from, where shared over doesn't have to be the border details, but I think the reason that we're saying this way is just because that it's clear to us. It's clear to us to know, oh, you have this many helipads, therefore you can see them here, so we don't have to like wonder where did you get these helipads from. In a way.
Airports and airfields, they are almost always boarded off with a fence of some kind, and they are unambiguous in what's happening. So, and how that space was defined. Like a senator town has 7,500 blocks that they can use for airfields and whatnot, and that's unambiguous of like you can only have a runway as a part of an airfield. Whereas a helipad can either be a part of a bigger airfield or something, or it can be standalone, or it can be decorative, or it can be internal. Like there's 4 different uses of a helipad, and just by looking at it, you can't tell which one it is. So whereas with an airport, there's only one use, and you can immediately tell what it is. And also governor airports, if they're being built in multiple cities, they kind of get treated as a neutral zone anyway. Especially because you can't like if you're starting off a governor town, you already have a senator airfield, you can't count that airfield as a part of your town in terms of determining how big of an airport you can build. So
Foot is asking, I was thinking that joint helipads could go through staff beforehand to make them less confusing. I would actually say
would be more effort.
It would be more effort, but I think in general it wouldn't be a bad idea for you just if you're planning to build a heliport, if you're not sure whether if you're trying to get allocations from some other towns, you're not sure, just to make it obvious, like that you're not violating or or it looks like you're stealing allocations from some other town, you could just email staff and let us know, and we can help you maybe determine a better location for the heliport or that sort of thing. So
I mean, again, you are allowed to at counselor have like again, probably easier to just split them, honestly, just in terms of managing. So
yeah, we don't know. But does that answer your question? I'm not sure if he's listening. Oh, there he's.
oh yes, says I think so. Okay.
So just to confirm, I've gotten the minutes semi-approved. Towns can't explicitly give their allocations to other towns, but the pads can be sort of pulled in a shared heliport between towns.
Yeah, if I would say if it's very clear that it's shared and not owned by one town. I think that's the delineating factor. But the location is like I should be able to look at a heliport and quickly determine if it's in compliance. So
Cool.
okay. Cool. So time to do some MRT line stuff then. Gods, you have one station to give away.
Yep, so I'll combine 6A and 6B. Plains Line, no applications were made, so they will all become publicly claimable after this meeting. And same for Mesa, one application was made, so M42 will be given to Eric Sol. Any dramas with both of them?
Fine with that.
Cool, I'll say approved.
Okay. 6A, 6B approved. Northern Line West allocations. Vicky.
Oh, that went by really quick. I just glazed over for just a second. So I got two applications. NW29, which is near Rocco 6 Alex's town, and NW34 to Crimson Fox. Neither of them conflict with anything, so
Cool.
they're good. All the other stations that are in towns will be made publicly available after the GSM.
Fine with that.
Yep, fine, approved.
Including this station once we clean it up.
Yep.
Okay.
Back to me. So I've got a proposal for the Expo West extension, which it will take it out to the border of Epsilon. I've passing through 4 towns, Moleville and Mojang Town, owned by CC and Mojang, who I've got permission from. And then there's Epcot and Lawrenceville, both of which are owned by inactive players. So I'm sort of just need the okay to go through their towns.
Yeah, fine with me. This we did actually, I think you saw my comment that back
Yeah.
in 2018 that we actually did kind of designate that corridor as being for a future Expo West extension. So, but like this is a much more detailed plan, so this looks good.
Cool.
Is it about the same as the old proposal?
Pretty much, yeah. It
following-
actually is. It's even more of a straight line than what was originally drawn.
It follows the routing you've got on your Zeta plans from Bill.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's at this point it's just a formality and go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, Masi.
Oh yes. So
6E.
this is a very short extension of the Jungle Line up to the Epsilon border in Secunda. It involves a short rerouting because the current terminus of the Jungle Line, it kind of curves west a bit, but this would be redirected north and into Secunda. There is a very, well, I don't know, it's not controversial, but there's the spiral. I think most of you are aware of. And I've built a small section now, but just to, for planning purposes. But yeah, that's it.
The spiral.
The spiral.
The spiral will at least be something unique, I suppose.
Yeah, it's the main problem was I wanted a way to move it from raised to underground, but in a way that complemented the city. And I think most people don't ride the MRT for speed, they ride it for views and nostalgia, I suppose. And for me, that is a way to provide both of that. It's like an attraction, like a tourist attraction to the line.
One
So,
question. Go ahead.
I'm
Go ahead.
gonna. Yeah, it is more to play devil's advocate rather than disagreeing with it, but it does have the appearance of like it's just. I know this takes it to the edge of Epsilon, but it does have the optics that you're doing a couple of stations to take it to your own town. My only concern is that the optics we're wanting to put out, that staff can just put MRT lines to their own town.
I'm gonna go. Actually, I'm gonna counter that for you, Masi. If you look at the plans for eventual Zeta extension, one of the routes, either the eastern or the jungle, may go further north, like actually across the ocean. So based on that, that means that if the jungle line was the one to be extended, it would eventually cross the ocean anyway, right? So I guess my question to you, Masi, is are you allowing for that? I guess first off.
Yeah, my reasoning, I've left it perfectly open to be further extended along the peninsula it's on now, and then cross the ocean into the far northeast. That's all, part of a possible future plan.
Yeah, I interpret it as it was going like had the Zeta moratorium not been in place, it probably would be extended further out in this proposal.
If I
Right,
was
Mossy?
able to do it, I wouldn't terminate the line in Secunda. It's just as it is now. I thought
Yeah.
I may as well terminate it there, build around it, and then when the time comes, I can build in Zeta. Then I will happily extend it into there.
Yeah, so I think that in the eyes of the Zeta MRT moratorium is still in place, I think it's fine.
Does that sound good to you guys, or?
Yeah, it was. I was just concerned about potential optics, but if you're saying it's okay, then yeah, I'm happy.
It's not a bad thing to keep in mind, and I think in this case that I think it's okay.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure it was at least discussed.
Yeah, fair enough.
So approved.
Sounds like that's approved.
Brilliant.
I will say that this looks absolutely insane. I think it'd be great.
Hey, MBS, have fun with this.
Oh yeah, good.
Okay.
You have to keenly spin the.
Vicky, you want to build a road?
Want a road?
It is it's about 1 kilometer long. It'll be pretty much all at grade, except for like the bridge. And basically, from my town to Airstrad's town on the north side of the Northern Ocean, away from everything else. Yeah, it's just a road.
Yeah, fine.
Vicky, I'd like to commend you for adding a area of detail and context, because a lot of proposals I see, I don't know where the heck it is.
Yes, thank you.
Based on the map alone, it's like it's in the middle of nowhere, basically. So
Yeah, this is fine. Okay, approved. B140 by Mooseman0725. So Echo has thrown a flag on this. And specifically, he has not granted permission for this to go over the dam.
Where is the dam? I can't see it on Dynmap.
Is it under construction right now, or is it still planned? I'm not sure.
It's been already built.
It could have
The
been.
dam's already built.
It may not be rendered.
It's not
I
rendered, so
can try to get there. Hold on.
could have generally not realized that it was there.
We could do a radius render and just
See. I believe, where is it? Look on Dynamap. You'll see where I am.
Oh, it's there. Right. Sorry, I was looking.
It is rendered. Yes.
Sorry, I was looking at a different branch.
Yeah,
it
cool
could
as
have been
hell.
that he just didn't notice that.
Hasn't given permission. That pretty much kills the.
Yeah, I would say we would have to say no for now until he can get something agreed about the routing with Echo.
Yeah,
Fair-
I think we're
fair
gonna.
enough.
Yep. Yep. Sorry, Moose. That's gonna be a no.
Also, doesn't help that it's wrong ward.
Oh, really?
Is it also the wrong word?
Last time I checked, it's in Ward 4.
Oh.
It might be a case of Mooseman's not aware. He's a pretty new member, so he
Yeah.
might not be aware of the ward system. So that might need to be communicated.
Okay.
So that's denied.
Yeah, denied. Denied because of needing to get clearance with the dam. So.
C.
Okay, 7C railway tunnel.
Looks fine to me.
Is this is a different thing than what we dealt with last time? Okay, fine.
My question is why? Why go that way when you can just go the other, like go a more inland route,
like under the southern line?
Yeah. Unless he's trying to connect to something over at the very bottom of the corner.
Yeah.
Maybe he just doesn't want permission from the other towns.
Or maybe it just allow. I mean, it would allow him further.
Oh no, I didn't read the top. The reason why the tunnel is aligned like this is Dan is a transport hub served by multiple companies. Since hence it'd be easier to get to Lily Grove from Dan. What? That doesn't explain it.
Maybe it's because the transport hub leads south, but
Yeah, the transit hub probably goes north-south.
You can make a curve.
Yeah,
within
you
the
can.
town.
I don't think I7 is. Yeah, I7's not here.
Might also be because it's easier just to have like a staff member just stack a tunnel underwater than it is for him to manually build a curve, but that shouldn't factor in much here.
I think it's mostly because whatever is at SW1, who owns that at SW1?
I believe it's Narnia.
Oh, I see. He did it to avoid getting permission.
Yeah.
A little bit
Oh,
lazy,
that's fair.
But okay, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have proposed this, and then we could have approved it. If these builds are completely inactive, then we could just say, okay, you can still build through them.
Yeah, I mean that's that one that we had issue with Narnia, right? So
yeah.
I'm not sure if this even really counts as significant development at this point. It's just a single building with a bunch of.
Hey, anyone want
2 buildings?
No.
So that's SW1. What's at SW2?
Just to clarify, they're saying that there's some comments in meeting discussion that it's now SW1 is now owned by either Conric or Rurich, not Narnia.
I see.
Contribution with the town, it says.
Whatever. I mean,
yeah,
it's a slightly odd thing, but I'm okay with it. Also, hopefully, if someone builds on the corner, that then they'd be able to do something with it. But like, it's relatively short. Like it's 2.5K on a leg.
Apparently, Circle is saying I-70 is here.
He is. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with the concept. It's just slightly strange routing.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of if it's not necessary to go underwater, you should try to not go underwater. Like I don't think.
I mean, it's not exactly unrealistic though. Like you've got the Eurotunnel in the UK / France.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if it's unnecessary, like if you have a land route that is just as good, then like why not do that rather than trying to go off the if I7 was actually trying to connect to the other side, like to that southeast corner to some other towns, then that'd be definitely an okay argument for that. But this seems to me just I didn't want to ask anybody for permission, so I'm just going to do the easy way route. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, Kitty does raise a valid point. It's not like he's taking up extra valuable land by just going underwater. If anything, he's doing the least environmentally damaging thing by just going underwater.
Well, but you say environmentally damaging, and of course now we're going to get into the environmental impact statement.
It's kind of reverse. In IRL terms, this would be extremely environmental damaging. In Minecraft terms, it is actually less damaging.
Yeah.
As long as it's not visible from above ground, I think it's honestly fine. But I think, yeah, I think it's fine with the writing he has, but we can say to him, if you want to go like below land or on the land, then like you could just ask Cloud for permission because that land is right there. So I think so.
Whoever added this to the agenda, what's the snag that requires the GSM discussion, or is it just the
What are you
routing?
talking about?
So 4K waivers do not need GSM approval unless they're rolled in with something else.
It's
So, like,
5,000 blocks.
That's what I mean. If that's a 4K waiver. So if the only reason that it's on the agenda is that it's longer than 4,000 blocks, that doesn't need a GSM approval. That can be handled by email.
I think Vulpix just added them both because he submitted it with another topic.
Yeah, and I think it was like 2 a.m. at the time. I was just going, oh right, just put that on the ISM, put that on the GSM,
Okay,
go to
fair.
bed.
Yeah.
Right, that's why he's saying it's because they're particularly low. Like the station is at Y12.
Okay.
So it would...
I7 has put in it's the alignment of the tracks. So Lily Grove's tracks are east-west and Dan's are north-south.
Okay, that's a decent reason.
Honestly, I think it's fine.
I'm
Yeah,
not
I
gonna
mean,
like
if
it, but if you want to approve it, I'm okay with it. I'm just not. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's. I mean, it seems fine, and like it does technically leave that bottom right corner open for someone to clip onto if they wanted, or if I7 were to build a town there.
Hint, 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 hint.
I mean, it's an option. I'm not gonna. I don't think we want to require it by any means. So. Okay. Sounds like it's good. And note for Volpe that again, 4K. If it's a 4K, if it's 4K by itself, then that can be split out and dealt with outside of the GSM.
I think I've also realized I should probably stop responding to emails at 2 a.m. when I'm obviously tired.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
I put this on the freaking infrastructure staff meeting for some reason.
7D. Speaking of 7D, 7D.
Thank you, HVT, for not submitting a PDF again.
Yeah.
Bypassing whatever is at A4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
Sanford.
Good. Whatever.
Good.
A78 extension.
Yay, roads.
70. The only thing I ask is that it retains the same road style that the A78 currently has. That's all.
Why?
Because if it's an extension of the same road, it would make sense for it to follow the same road style.
And also Sinra.
I mean, I think it's fine if it's different.
Yeah, I mean, MRT line extensions are often different from the.
Yes, I know, but I'm saying.
He's asking it because he wants it to be like the
I like the
built.
consistent style.
Well, sadly, I don't think you
His
have the
style.
jurisdiction here.
I don't want to. I mean,
I'm
if
in
it looks
favour of
reasonable, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this proposal basically.
Well, the main thing we want basically is non-decision, but it's also a letter H, which is Super 3860, which is offline for almost a month. So it's not. So basically, it's also a bypass in a way for town H.
Okay, so yeah, it's got the contingency. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with this plan of approving via Retroville if permission is granted. Otherwise, I'm okay with the bypass.
Yeah, that seems fair. I approve.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that one more time?
No, I think GP misunderstood there.
Yeah.
I think what, as part of this proposal, I think we're at Ares is asking, we can allow the bypass since Super has not been online for a month.
Yeah, that's what he's asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, usually we don't do that until they're inactive for 3 months.
Yeah, so it's basically asking for an exception if he basically can, because he's trying to contact the other
I would
meetings.
say no, in that he should either wait or follow the yellow route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if
that's what I was saying.
he could build up to south of G and then stop
Yep.
there if he wants
Or
to.
yeah, or what you do is build up to G, and also maybe you could repropose by trying to go around it. But
I
it's
don't think he's
Oh,
asking for permission. I think he's just saying that, hey, I've reached out for permission from Superfan, and if he does say yes, I'll go the green alignment. If he says no or if he doesn't respond, I'll go the yellow. Kind
Yeah,
of
that's
just
why I'm-
asking if both alignments can be.
I think he is preferring the H route though. Because
Yeah, that's the preference, but yeah.
Mm.
So I think that's why I said I'm okay approving this plan. Obviously, the bit that goes by Retroville is conditioned on approval there. But if he doesn't get approval there, then I'm okay just approving the diversion in advance, just so he doesn't have to deal with that.
Okay.
Agreed.
yeah, I think only the stipulation is that feel free to build on whatever you want.
Yep, fine with me. So then to Erez, I think your safety or your decision point is when you get to F, because that's obviously where you split. So what I would suggest is if you start building from the northeast, work your way down to F, and then at that point you can make a decision on which path to follow based on what permissions you have. So
I suppose the only question then is when the Western line's going to follow it down that way.
later. I have a long to-do list right now. Okay, cool. So that is a full approval with that one condition on the one route. Okay, 8A, anniversary spleef.
I mean, it's not much he's requesting. It's only 900, so I'm in favour of approval.
Yeah.
That's fine, but
Same.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, funding is okay. Just remember, not short that that if you're doing it on the 18th, to watch out for the fact that the GSM is that day. So
it says on the 26th.
it says it will take place over one day, either July 18th.
No, that was the interest form. Never mind. Ignore me. Haha.
Yeah.
No.
So I would just say make sure that you don't schedule it during the GSM, just because staff won't be able to play and you're going to get bad performance.
GSM, this John Notchard's saying it's now on the 19th.
Oh, it is on the 19th. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then that solves that problem. Okay. Yeah. Sounds like approved.
So this next one,
8B MGA tournament.
so this is going to be like a full-on tournament with several rounds, and he's requesting 740 in total from us.
I think that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, I would be in favour of this.
Yeah, fine.
The only thing he is asking for sponsorships, but they are going to be split between the tournament staff and the course builders / hosts.
I think that's fine.
Fine.
So approved.
Yeah,
Yep.
we're just approving the prize money to the players. Good for me.
Hotel competition 2, Electric Boogaloo.
To remind people, this was proposed at the ISM, but we had concerns about the rules. Time has rewritten the rules, and they seem a lot more clear now.
A lot less shouty.
Yeah.
So were we okay to approve the funding with the new rules?
Hold on.
The funding actually already has been approved. We
Yeah, it's
approved
just
that
basically just.
Only approving it till we had new rules.
We're approving the new rules.
But overall, we're okay. Just like say okay to the whole project.
Yeah. I think it's
Okay.
fine.
Okay,
Morning,
approved.
Yeah, sounds like approved.
Which I think you had a comment on, Frumple, which is just like, firstly, Ninja's area isn't significant enough development, so that's sort of now unclaimed anyway.
Yeah, I
But based on that, he's not really close enough anyway, so I would say no.
actually based on let's go to WN26 quickly. I think I don't remember who the mod was, but they commented that the area around WN26 could be construed as insignificant development. So technically, if it was that, then Subway, anyone could claim it, including Subway. So,
But I wouldn't say we should explicitly give it to Subway when he's so far away.
no, what I'm saying is Subway could just take it.
Yeah, he could, but I don't think we should explicitly give it to him.
I'm not saying we should explicitly give it. I'm just saying we let him take it. So.
It's insufficient, so run along and do whatever.
Yeah, this is definitely not significant development
So I would say
whatsoever.
deny the IAT, but just comment that there is no formal claim on the station at the moment.
It's I don't want to confuse Subway, so
I'd just say give it to him. Like he's even if we don't just tell him that, he'll probably just go out and claim it immediately
like
anyway.
a town that WN27 is actually closer.
I think we're grasping at straws here. I think just
Is there anything at this?
I just say just not do anything about this IIT. It's not it shouldn't have been actually added to the meeting. Now I think about it. So
yeah, just don't give it to him.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but not as an IAT.
No, we're not explicitly giving in it to, but it is open for Subway to take it, or anyone else, but probably Subway because I don't think there's anyone else buying.
Technically anyone else, but like, please be nice.
Yeah, please don't
True.
be an ass.
But like, if he claimed it, then the 14-day development period would then apply to that anyway.
Yes. So, Subway, you can go ahead and just replace the claim on the station, and then connect it up to your town later as you develop. Okay. That's it for the agenda.
That's it.
So.
No, we still got 10A item title.
Ah, yes, my favorite.
Ah, yay.
Oh, we just had 3 hours actually.
Yep.
Oh,
I would say that we can go ahead and approve 10A.
Cool.
What's it?
No, hang
Okay.
on.
Item title is
Hang
now.
on, no, I'm using my veto power. No, I'm kidding.
All right.
Well, actually, don't we need to review the trustee meeting?
Oh yes, the trustee meeting.
Skelly, could someone who has the trustee meeting notes give them to me?
I wanted to TP to you to try and help.
Who has the trustee meeting notes?
Skelly.
Also,
Skelly ran away. Let's see.
Also, I will say that I already put the roads in the dock, in the road sheet. Excuse me.
So in this time, while we're waiting to get the trustee meeting notes, if you have any questions for the Q&A, please put them in meeting discussion or chat.
Surprised that Skelly didn't make a backup plan in case he had to leave.
It's the most important part of the GSM. How could he
It's
forget
like-
the note?
it's like they're not taking that trustee meeting seriously. What a concept.
Guess we could go through P1 and see what the hell was discussed.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Should I?
Can we just, without saying it, just say that they're approved anyway?
Let's just
They're usually good.
Let's get into the
They're-
question.
Okay. I have no questions. So.
Well, if anyone wants to submit questions, submit them
GSM discussion, Chief. There is. Yeah, guys, ping Chief.
Can you ping me so I can actually see what the
Yeah.
actual questions are? Because.
Yeah.
Okay, time. Let's. Can you email? Okay, so yes, can I get the Joachim, or however you pronounce that, beach hotel competition out of the website? Yeah, can you email the admins just to remind us, or one of us can do it now?
Actually, a time. You can just send me a Discord message of when you want it to happen, what time, with the time zone, and then also if you want to add short description, I can add that. Just send me a Discord DM and I'll add it when I'll add it as soon as you send it.
To get the August GSM, yeah, seems possible. I'd have no
Sans, what the hell?
Yeah, no objections for reading out the results in August, so that's fine.
Anyway, I have to head off, so have a
Okay, bye, gods.
See you guys.
Our viewers on MBN, if you have any questions for
Any other
staff, we will ask them if you
questions?
leave your
Any
Minecraft
last
username and
comments?
your
By the way,
question
take
in
your
stream
last photos
chat.
of this GSM thing because it will be cleaned up shortly after.
God.
Yeah, this is a thing.
I don't
Fucking
want to.
Smallville Road all over.
I don't know if I should open this can of worms, but again, going back to 3E,
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
that topic. Like, if you have any questions about, if you want to clarify any things that we're trying to consider, or if something's not clear to you, now's the time probably to ask. Like,
Okay, so Foot Chicken asks, just to clarify, even if I ask staff beforehand and get approval from Metromap, I won't be allowed to combine our allocations if the heliport is entirely my town and isn't obviously combined with his.
I'd say correct, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, if you have a bunch of helipads all next to each other, it's really hard to tell what's being used for what and where they came from. So yeah, I think, yeah. I think you guys are gonna need to decide on a neutral spot. Yeah, Foot, you're gonna need to know if you're combining within your town and giving him, like, using his 2 spots within your town, that's no. Like, it's gonna need to be either on the edge of your town or in between or something, and it'll need to be contained. Like, basically, make it really clear as soon as we look at it that it's an isolated thing is really the thing that we're looking for. And I would say, just to avoid any ambiguity, it's just a lot easier if you just don't do it in the first place.
Just respond to Kitty. I'm not looking for opinions right now. If you have opinions about the topic, you should just email the staff so we can just collate them together. So we have a tally of who, what your opinions about certain symbols are or what certain concepts. I'm mostly asking if the topic's not clear to people, if you need more clarification of what we're discussing, because I know it's a lot of stuff, then now is the time to ask. Or if you have questions of how to send an email to us regarding this topic, like that sort of thing. I think Pretzel has a question, Chief.
I don't see it unless.
What do you
it's-
suggest for?
Oh, that.
Is it
Yeah.
that one?
Yeah. What do you suggest for Venn advertising?
Or can I answer that one?
Yeah, go ahead, Yoshi.
So if you're trying to advertise it, the best way to do it is, okay, when you propose an event in the GSM to get funding, you do also get with that. You do get everyone paying, specifically when the event begins, or also when there's a sign up form or anything like that. So that does obviously can help you gather some attention. So you can get an ad everyone pay, but it's when signups happen and when the event actually starts. So that usually does draw some attention, and if not, I also find it helpful just to talk, maybe go to some people maybe you're friends with, or just anybody who have played in past events, be like, hey, I have this event, would you think about participating? So honestly, going one-on-one with people also helps. But just kind of putting ads out there randomly, it doesn't really get people's attention. But yeah, trying to target specific people to try to get people in, I think, is much more helpful.
I would also say that you are also, I don't know how effective they would be, but you are also, like, MBS and MBN do run ads during streams of other events. So it is, like, as long as they're okay airing those kinds of ads, then that might be an option too, if you're willing to put a video ad together.
It's about advertising. Kidding.
So obviously, I'm not gonna. Oh, did my internet cut out again?
You're good.
You're good.
Any other questions?
Going once.
I'm sorry. Did my internet cut out again? I think it did.
Yeah.
No, well, if we're a little bit, yeah.
And now you're not in the Discord. Whoops. Oh, there he is.
Okay, who is?
Okay. So the thing that I was trying to say before my internet might have cut out was like, if you're doing an event and you're willing to put video together to do a video ad, that might not be a bad idea to air that on MBS or MBN. So. That's what I was trying to say, and then my internet broke because my laptop decided to switch routers. Okay. Any other questions?
Going once. Going twice. Sold.
To who?
Yay.
Yep, guys, I sold the server. You're owned by
Airport Rapid
yeah.
Transit Company.
Yeah.
If you want to take a photo of this, the
Beautiful
GSM
artwork.
area, I'm about to roll it back. You have like a minute or so before the rollback starts.
Yeah, this is a time TM.
About a minute to like the
Hang
top.
on.
Is
Skelly has. I think Skelly has a present.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
I'm
is
still
this
gonna roll
just
back.
kidding?
You have like 30 seconds, so take any
Hey,
photos you need.
Chief, just yell it out while the rollback's happening.
Okay, hang on. I need to get. First, I need to get out of this thing. Okay, Skelly, where'd you go?
Oh, he dropped it right here. He dropped it right here.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Helkama, don't.
Oh my god, there's a lot.
Yeah, this is a more of a shit show than normal.
Okay. Who
It's right
keeps picking
there.
them up?
You just picked one up.
Okay, got it. All right. So here are the notes. Oh god, there's 9 pages. The doggo from across the road is nominated for trustee. Mr. _wee is nominated for trustee. The Pogman is nominated for trustee. A random KIA agent armor stand is nominated for trustee. Court's empty bottle of rum is nominated for owner. The Blue Orchid is nominated for trustee. Hatsune Miku is nominated for trustee. Sans Not Luigi is nominated for whipped cream of the trustees. Revert the server to 125. Air sitting is the mandatory sitting method for trustees. All towns are renamed to MRT Marina. All Fubar stations are renamed to Kung Fu Bar. All Fubar stations are renamed to Fuck All. All Fubar stations are renamed to Fubar Fighters. The Sips self-duet of It Wasn't Me is the official anthem of the trustees. Promote Submerged Subway to Senator. Recognize Wurich 999 is head simp. Honorary trustees may propose motions but not vote. Recognize CCC 9 as vice simp. Volpe's Snapshot Review is recognized as best show. Pizza is the new official food of the MRT. Motion the motion of the waves. Change the name of trustee to Steve. Stacked airfields are legalized. You guys were busy.
We're very busy.
Wow, that's actually one of the most productive trustee meetings. No.
I'm
The
sorry,
simp
I
one
stopped
might
lis-
be okay.
I'm sorry, I stopped listening 5 minutes. Anyway, okay, is the rollback done?
Yes,
Yep, well done.
Yep, rollback's done.
Okay, get out of here.
Leave.
The end.
It's the end.
All right, goodbye, everyone.
Okay, bye.
I'll see you in Rumble.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was the June 2020 GSM on MBN. We thank you very much for watching. We hope we had a few technical problems today. That's why we started late, but that's besides the point. We thank you for joining us on this live coverage of the June GSM. We will be live on We'll be live on June the 27th for the June ISM. And 4th of July GSM on July 18th. So for now, from Northern West Station 31, for MBN News, I'm Not Short 925. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you again real soon.